The following is a Just Green production brought to you by the Might Be News Network.
What's up, everybody? It's the week of July 1st, 2019. This is Might Be Sports. I'm Taylor Cooper. With me, as always, Kevin Reevy. What up, Reevy?
What's going on, man?
What's up, CJ?
How's it going?
All right, so 4th of July week. Happy 4th of July, everybody. I hope everybody has a great Independence Day. If you're having a long weekend, I hope you have a good long weekend.
It's been a wild month.
It's been a wild month.
And I guess we can't. It's not the same month as June, but
the end of June was crazy.
My end of June started with me going down to the Outer Banks, knowing I could only be there for a couple days, and that really sucks.
Yeah.
My family's down there. Part of my family, and they're down there for the whole week. But I'm scrambling for vacation days right now, so I couldn't quite make it there for the entire time. But it really stinks to come home. That's a long trip from the Outer Banks to just outside Philly, where we currently reside.
Yeah.
And man, it sucks when everybody else is there hanging by the pool, knowing that they have like 4 days left.
So let me get this straight. You came back just to do the show?
Yeah, man.
And work tomorrow.
Yeah, of course. I'm very dedicated.
Yeah. Yeah.
I appreciate everything you do, Reevy.
Yeah. Yeah, man, I was in vacation mode, and it's you don't understand. I guess you don't, like, when you commit to a vacation, quote unquote vacation like that, where you got to drive 8 hours there and back. You don't realize that after 3 days, your brain, like, they're not done vacationing. Like, your brain's not done, but you're like, no, we're done. We got to drive home now. Like, I'm not. My brain is still on vacation mode.
Right.
I've had a few beers today, since I've gotten back.
Right.
And normally, my new rule for this is try to be as sober as possible.
Yeah.
And so I'm still on vacation mode. So I've had a few.
That's okay.
I'm good to go.
It's kind
I'm
of
very coherent.
It's a vacation-y week. I'm going away in a couple days.
Right.
Yeah. I'm so hyped. I'm so hyped.
The weather's been awesome. Hopefully it holds up right now. It's been a good run. It looked like a little bit ago there was going to be like a tornado that just came out of nowhere, but for the most part the weather's been nice.
Yes.
And July is just the best time of year.
Speaking of the weather,
Christmas should actually be in July.
I agree.
I don't know if that would be too much of a good thing, but I would vote for it.
Speaking of the weather, it still kind of looks like a tornado outside. So if this episode is only 3 minutes long, that's why.
That would be good.
The power goes out and we're done.
There's a tornado outside. We'll see you guys next time. Pray for us.
That would be awesome.
All you have to really do is grab the laptop, make sure that survives.
Yeah. Everything else kind of just stay here. I got to grab Finn and Jackie, though, too. So you grab the laptop, CJ. I'll grab the other two.
All right, I'll grab the laptop.
We'll team effort here. We'll all huddle into in the bathtub. Is that what you're supposed to do in a tornado?
Yeah, that's an internal room. So yeah, that would be your room.
Or stand in a doorway.
I thought that was an earthquake.
That is an earthquake.
That's also a tornado.
Is it?
Well, now I'm doubting myself.
No, don't listen to him.
But there were psychology experiments that said if everybody else in the room disagrees with you, you will disagree with yourself. So I'm not sure if I want to stick by my doorway thing right now or not.
Especially like the outside doorway. That would be an issue.
That would be a poor choice of doorways.
Just open your front door and just stand there. Like, this is the perfect place to be.
Well, you have to depressurize it so it doesn't suck the roof off.
Correct.
Plus, you got to let the tornado
makes
know.
sense there, CJ.
You got to stand in your doorway, let the tornado know.
Right.
Like,
You're not afraid of it.
Like, I think Dumbledore is the wrong name for Lord of the Rings, but that guy was like, you shall not pass. Dumbledore sounds like it's a Harry Potter guy, but they're the same guy.
It's the same thing.
I'm pretty sure they're the same guy.
Yeah, it's the same thing. So we teased a guest last week that we said we're going to have tonight. We don't have.
And we Full
We
disclosure.
lied to you.
Full disclosure, we lied on purpose.
Full disclosure.
Yeah, we totally lied on purpose. It was never going to happen. After the episode, we all got together and we said, "Oh, we just lied to everybody." How
right.
fun.
Exactly.
No, sometimes schedules don't work out exactly right.
Yeah.
But
Well, I mean, after we break news and then ESPN breaks the same story,
I get it.
there was misplaced priorities.
Yeah.
And it didn't involve us.
It's okay.
yeah, so
So, next time when Might Be Bruised is the shit, and she's still writing for the Atlantic or whatever.
yes. So she's going to be on Dr. Meredith Wills. What do you call it? Astrophysicist, all that kind of stuff. Yeah, she broke news this past week, about the condition of the baseballs being different than previous years. And while that's not a big story by itself, the idea being the balls were specifically changed to
So
create
they-
more home runs.
Deflated them.
That's kind of
Yeah.
This is kind of a baseball deflate gate kind of thing. Yeah, if it involved every team in Major League Baseball and the team's not really being part of that decision, but baseball as an entity saying, here's how we get back on top. Here's how we got back on top in 1994, and let's do that again. But we'll take the steroid part out of it, and we'll just change the baseballs in small ways that hopefully no one will notice. Hopefully there's not an astrophysicist out there that's meticulously examining baseballs and all that kind of stuff.
You done fucked up Major League
So,
Baseball? I
yeah.
mean, I can't wait to talk to her. We're not talking to her this week, so technically I have to wait to talk to her. But,
So I have a Kevin Reevy Spader question. How does this affect the stats? Like now you can't on par compare two players.
I mean, I would assume that it throws certain analytics off, into whack, but analytics, they self-correct themselves eventually.
And I mean, Major League Baseball is
Right.
never going to admit to anything, and they might quietly change the baseballs back at some point during the year, and you're going to have a whole nother investigation of those baseballs. And if they roll out different baseballs to different teams at different times, it's hard to inspect every single baseball out there and play.
The only time I could see that
Who
happening
the hell knows?
is either after All-Star break, which is coming up. What is it? Like 2 weeks from now, isn't it?
I do not know.
I think it's like a couple weeks away. I don't think it's very far away. So
It's
I
not.
could either see that happening after the All-Star break or at the beginning of the playoffs.
Yeah, I'm looking it up now.
If they do it this year. At
Yeah,
all.
it's the All-Star game is 1 week from yesterday.
Okay, so wow, close.
So today being Wednesday, next Tuesday.
So they could, because they take like a week off for that, right?
Not a week, no.
Is
It's
it
not
what
a
is
full
It's like a few. Is it like a few games though?
it's not dissimilar to, I mean, really the NBA or NHL. It's kind of like a long weekend.
Okay, all right, okay. See, so that could give them time to distribute the balls to all the teams, right?
No,
Maybe.
absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, right. So,
There's so many questions.
But and it would be a story. I mean, that would probably come out, but
like,
even if it does, I don't think there still hasn't been much outrage.
no, I haven't seen. It's not as big of a story as I feel like it should be.
well,
Right.
I think more has to come out because I have a question. So, we have to ask her. What about the Mark McGuire, Sammy Sosa era?
Right.
What were those balls consistent to past balls, or were they changed, or just did she go
Yeah, I mean-
back that far? Or
Right.
That's a relevant question too, because I mean, Major League Baseball was as invested as these guys with their careers. Mark McGuire getting a jump, Sammy Sosa, all these guys. Mark McGuire and Sammy Sosa, they saved baseball, but baseball was invested in these guys doing that kind of thing. And there's plenty of guys out there that always had these, steroid accusations lobbed against them that I don't believe ever failed tests. I know Jeff Bagwell didn't, Brady Anderson didn't, but these are guys whose home run numbers spiked at certain times. And maybe that's a question you now have to ask. That we know these things about, Sosa, McGuire, and all them, but what about the guys that we've kind of assumed that it could be maybe the baseball changed back then?
Or since there were so many home runs and people were talking about that, did the Major League Baseball see backlash to change the balls to another way to make the home runs less?
Yeah, I mean, there is a way to tell, on the rudimentary way of just seeing, what the home run rate was per year.
Yeah.
And it's only recently spiked to a significant amount where it makes you really scratch your head and wonder what the hell's going on here. But it's also, you can't entirely put that on the baseball. It's also, kind of like with the 3-point shot in the NBA. Teams with analytics, whatever it is, they decided to pretty much go all in on the home run. So it's more of a way they're playing the game. And, it could be a chicken or egg cause and effect thing. Is the ball changing the way they play the game, or is it a combination of the two? Is it the ball and they decided to change the way they play the game? Who knows? But I have a feeling if the ball wasn't as, home run happy,
right,
you might see a return to a more traditional way of playing the game where it's not, really it's getting weird where they're just trying to hit home runs all the time now. Like, that's how you score. You hit home runs.
Right. I was thinking it takes every position on defense away. Right? Because home run, there's no chance usually. For me, watching baseball, I love double plays. Right? I love it when a team executes a double play. I think that shit is so exciting. It's exhilarating, and it's only like a split second, right? The home run eliminates every single person on the field.
See, that's a great point.
Maybe outfielder depending, but that's a small...
Right, if they're
but I never thought about
thing,
that.
Right.
So what about third base?
Right.
That was a position where you put in a heavy hitter that can still kind of field his position, still athletic. They got to make a lot of moves down there, but maybe you put a guy that's not as athletic now. And I feel like I've seen that. I'm trying to think of examples off the top of my head. I can't right now, but I know I've kind of seen less athletic guys playing third base in recent years. And I wonder if that's one of those things. If you get a great fielding shortstop who can cover that ground, and if guys are springing for the fences all the damn time, the defensive need at third base is no longer really there.
Right.
And you could put a fat guy there. Just put him out there.
Yeah.
And Pablo Sandoval, the fat toad, he could, actually he wasn't the fat toad. He was Kung Fu Panda. The fat toad was, Hideki Irabu, old fat pitcher for the Yankees in 1997. That's a whole other story altogether. But yeah, fat, pudgy, short guy, throw him at third base. That might be the new left field.
Wow. We're out here just breaking down the game.
Yeah.
On the show.
That's what we do every week here. We break down baseball. You guys hate baseball, and I know it. But so I
don't hate baseball.
I break
just,
something down.
Usually, my height of baseball consumption usually happens right after the All-Star break. I get into the home run derby. I like the home run derby. I like the All-Star game. And I like that the All-Star game in baseball matters, whereas none of the other ones do, right?
Well, essentially, that's what...
The NHL doesn't matter.
Yeah, none of them matter except for,
baseball.
Major League Baseball decides
who gets home field advantage through the playoffs.
Which that's going to change because I think fans are getting tired of that.
Really? You think it's going to go back to it's going to go where everybody else is with the seeding and record?
Yeah, because I think there's an acceptance now that the All-Star game doesn't matter. And it was kind of like 10 years ago or whenever when they changed it, Major League baseball had this like weird historical connection with the All-Star game, and it mattered. It was important. People watched it. They just don't anymore in all sports. They don't do it. So, and there's an acceptance of that now, though. So I think they're going to accept the fact that people don't watch All-Star games as much. Ours shouldn't count. It's dumb.
Right.
And you know what? People aren't really going to watch for that anyway, except maybe teams or fans of teams that know their team's going to be in it. But let's be real. Home field advantage, like that's why you're going to watch intently, because your team might have a good thing going at that moment in time.
Right.
That's weird. I mean, I remember when the Phillies were rocking 10 years ago. It didn't really make me pay that much attention to the All-Star game.
Right.
I would watch a few innings and turn it off.
Right.
And the next day, see who won.
Do you like
and
the
be
different...
like, oh shit, we won't have home field advantage, but we have to still get there. It's a long journey.
Right.
How could you be upset one way or the other?
Do you like the different All-Star games skill competitions? I personally enjoy them. I think they're fun. I don't always catch them, but I like watching that stuff.
It's weird now because
even the NHL one's dope.
I don't feel like, maybe in the NHL that's one thing, but I feel like you can't really cut loose because there's like the worry about getting hurt.
Right.
And the injuries and all that. And teams know it and players know it more so now than I feel like, 20 years ago when I was a kid. I didn't ever think about my favorite player getting hurt. It was so rare. But now these guys are such fine-tuned athletes to the point where they're fragile as hell that, I don't think in the NBA, the slam dunk competition kind of brings that into play, but that's why these guys don't go hard in the game, because they could get hurt.
Right.
So, shoot, the NFL, the perfect example of that. You'll never see a real skill competition in the NFL because guys are going to get hurt. Right. And they're way more worried about that in the NFL than any other game. So I don't know what you would do in baseball. I would love to see like the fastest pitch, but again, you don't want guys out there throwing as hard as they can and risking getting an injury.
Well, what about when they make the quarterbacks do that accuracy competition?
I don't even know if that still goes on. They still do like the quarterback challenge thing?
Yeah, they still do it. And
it's not like it used to be. It is, but they
still
change it.
They make them still lob it down as far as they can.
Right. And they do the targets and stuff.
Yeah. To try and get through the target. So when you're throwing that ball, what's it? 40 yards. They make them do it to try and get it.
I'm cool with that because you never hear that in the NFL, like a guy throwing out his arm. That's fine.
Right.
You're more worried about like doing like juke drills, like something where you're gonna run and maybe bust a knee. But I don't know. I don't really care about those things because no one's going 100% anyway.
Right.
So what's the point?
I have one more baseball thing. And that's Tyler Skaggs,
right,
from the Angels. Passed away suddenly. He was very young. What was he? He was only like 27?
27.
Yeah. Or 26, 27.
Did they release what happened? I know
it's not
doing
yet.
the autopsy today.
Okay. As we're recording?
I would figure they would already have.
No, not like right now, but I'm talking about today. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I saw that it happened, and I don't follow that team. I don't know much about them. I don't know really anything about the Angels. But obviously, rest in peace, and prayers to his family. That shit's crazy, especially so young and suddenly. It's crazy. Was he supposed to start that night, too?
I'm not sure.
Because they were in Texas, because they were playing in Texas or whatever. And that's where they found him, was in the hotel room.
I'm not sure. I think he was supposed to start on Saturday, and I think he made that start.
Okay.
And I'm thinking he was found dead on Sunday.
Yeah, I think that's right.
So I think he made his start. But it's weird. It reminds me of, I guess, about 15 years ago, Darryl Kyle. Or I think he was playing for the Cardinals at that point in time. He was around 30. He was in his early. Let's see. I'll pull it up. 33 when he died. And he was found dead of a heart attack. I guess he had it at night in his sleep. So this could be a similar situation to that.
Well, they released that it wasn't suicide as far as...
Right, and that wouldn't make sense. I mean, you never know what someone's going through. But if you follow this guy on Twitter and, see his deal, he seemed to be a happy guy out in front of things. He was a leader on the team. Not the best player, but he was a cheerleader. He was a guy that would, I think I saw on the Angels Twitter, he was leading a charge for one of their players to make the All-Star teams. He was a guy like going around doing interviews and all that, like a very vocal player on the team. So not the kind of guy that you would think would, take his own life. But again, you got to wonder, total speculation off the top of my head, but with these athletes, like big guys, to stay on top, to get on top and stay on top, especially for like a pitcher, they were never supposed to be 6'5", 240 pounds. Like I always thought that was like an unnatural size. They just kept getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And when I grew up with the game, you didn't see that. You saw a lot of guys out of shape, smaller guys. And now, like, the biggest guys on the team sometimes are the starting pitchers, which is weird. And I wonder if there's some weird thing going on where these guys are taking drugs that are, legal or otherwise, just to try to stay on top and do things that are totally unnatural.
I mean, there's a lot of, and I figure for pitching, there's a lot of things I've seen with muscle rejuvenation, regeneration,
regeneration.
Yeah. And I'm sure a lot of that, because it doesn't seem like a viable thing. So I feel like a lot of that's kind of shady.
Yeah, and I wonder,
you're throwing your arm out.
Right.
Like you're doing damage.
And it sounds insane because, in the NBA, you got guys who are that size playing every single day, and they're way better athletes than starting pitchers who pitch every fifth day. I mean, you're going to see guys that start at 6'4", 6'5". That's like the bottom of that rung. But I don't know. I don't know what it takes to compete at that level in Major League Baseball and the pressure these guys might be under and what they might be putting in their body and how that differs from the NBA and other sports. Total speculation. This guy could have had a heart defect his entire life and it went undiagnosed. But I've always wondered that with, guys in baseball, that I've never seen so many big guys on the mound. Those guys were the ones that played, first base, were hitting home runs, and now they're out on the mound. I always thought that would lead to more arm things, but maybe it's heart things too. Who knows?
So the medical examiner released a statement saying there were no obvious signs of suicide or foul play, but the toxicology results can take 4 to 6 weeks to come back.
Okay, so we still might not know for a little while.
Yeah, so it's obvious he didn't do damage to himself externally.
Right.
Or no one else did, but they don't know what's in his blood or anything else yet.
Yeah, it sucks. I mean, he seemed like he was about to catch his he was never a great player, but he seemed like he was finding his way. He had an ERA, I'm going to say about 4.1 last year. It was 4.24 this year. But his strikeouts were good. His walks were good. He was trending in the right direction. So you wonder what he could have done. I didn't really follow the guy too much until the last few days, but looking at his numbers and his life and everything, it seems like he was a guy who was working on his game. Right. And if you look at the stats, they looked like they were trending towards that direction to him improving, which sucks because by all accounts, he was on his way.
Yeah.
So we'll see what happens, but
it's a shame.
Yeah, it sucks.
I have a bit of breaking news: NBA free agency, which we're going to talk more about after the break.
Yeah, that's the big.
It's a big thing right now.
Big thing going on Twitter.
So
Woj bombs.
Yeah, Woj bombs left and right here. 28 minutes ago. Not that this fucking matters. Free agent Jared Dudley has agreed to a 1-year, $2.6 million deal with the Los Angeles Lakers.
That, you know what? You should have said with what team.
Oh,
and I feel
pretty
good about my ability to guess that team.
Yeah.
Because all they have left is to offer guys as little as possible.
Now, they freed up enough to do a max contract for somebody.
Right.
Because Anthony Davis declined like a signing bonus or something, which saved them like $4 million, which would allow them to have signed somebody like Jimmy Butler. Spoiler alert, they didn't. Kyrie, they didn't. KD, no.
Kawhi, though.
Kawhi is still out there.
Still in play.
Yeah, Kawhi is still in play.
Which, by the way,
yeah,
I'm going to call it now. And since our boy Scoop B is out there saying Kawhi is going to sign with the Lakers, and he has inside information on that.
He's saying that? Scoop's saying that?
That's what he's saying.
Oh, God.
So he's saying Kawhi is going to the Lakers. I'm going to go against Scoop B on this and saying they're getting DeMarcus Cousins. That's going to be my guess. Right now, nobody is touching the guy. DeMarcus Cousins is poison, apparently. And I get it. He wasn't the greatest teammate before.
You know what? I didn't even realize
he didn't seem to be like a game changer with the Warriors.
I totally forgot he was a free agent.
And, I mean, to be fair, he was hurt. And he came back and didn't look like himself. But you got to assume he's still pretty young. He's on the right side of 30, I think. I mean, he could help a team. I mean, he could for sure help a team. I don't know if his demands are outrageous or not. But if the Lakers miss on Kawhi, I mean, you got to think they're going with DeMarcus Cousins.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. I mean, I personally feel like if he goes to LA, he's going to the Clippers.
But you know what? I never thought about this, though. That would be
I'm talking
putting
Kawhi.
him with Anthony Davis again. I don't know. Was that kind of worked? Or did it not? Would that be a weird thing?
I think it would.
That might be weird.
Because I'm trying to remember how that ended, and I don't remember it ending great.
They didn't. I don't know if they made the playoffs.
They didn't. I don't believe they did.
But that was also because he got hurt.
I think you're right.
So, yeah, I wonder about that. So DeMarcus Cousins got hurt in New Orleans. They tried to pair him with Anthony Davis and have the two best big men in the league. But I could see it. I mean, shoot. If the price is right.
I don't know. I hope that the best they can do, the Lakers, that is Jared Dudley. I hope that that's the best
that would
they
be
get.
Hilarious, but it's not going to happen.
It's not going to happen.
It's LA.
They're not getting Jimmy Butler. He's going to Miami. Supposedly, right? He did finalize that deal, right?
Wait, who?
Butler to Miami.
Oh, right. Yeah, that's been finalized. It's a 4-team deal now.
4-team deal now.
Yeah,
right.
Which Miami gave up a lot to where I almost wonder, like, did Jimmy Butler know what they were giving up before he went there?
Right. Because now they literally have to like rebuild around him, basically.
They lost their best rebounder. What's his name?
Whiteside.
Yeah. So, man, you lose Hassan Whiteside. He was giving you 12 and 10.
Yeah.
You lose Richardson, your best defender.
Right.
Arguably,
yeah.
And you're adding Jimmy Butler. Like, that's a minus, right?
I feel like it's a minus. I do. I'm not a big Whiteside fan, but I understand that
on a team that was on the way
upsides.
up. Now, I don't know what his contract situation was, but I feel like Hassan Whiteside signed like only 2 years ago or so.
Yeah,
it wasn't
think you're
that
right.
long ago.
Yeah,
maybe it was a cap I mean, it was a cap thing.
It was a cap thing.
But you lose that much talent in one deal. And
Yeah.
they had to give up a pick.
Right. And they just got Jimmy Butler.
Weird.
To my knowledge. I don't think they got much else.
Was Butler just that obsessed with getting a max deal that he didn't care where he got traded to? Was it? Wait, this might be it. Maybe he wanted to re-sign with Philly, and they said, we'd rather not. You know what I mean? And then he was like, well, could he at least try to sign and trade me? I don't care where. I want the money.
There's rumors out there that they offered him 4, not 5 years.
Right, which means they said no.
Yeah, they said no.
So he probably went to them and said, all right, I want the max deal.
Right.
I don't care where you trade me. And if that's the case, I don't want a guy that's just all about the money.
Right. Let's take a quick break. When we come back, I want to discuss the new supposed Sixers starting 5 because it's interesting. And there's a lot of different changes going on there, and including in my opinion, somewhat unprecedented move by the Sixers front office just today. So we'll be right back after this.
So you've been listening to the Might Be News Network, but you still can't get enough each week? Become our patron on Patreon. Head to patreon.com/MBN Network to become a patron and get exclusive content now. For as little as $5 per month, you'll get access to extended episodes of all your favorite shows, as well as perks including MBN merch and monthly giveaways. Just want to support the network? Become a patron for as much or as little as you'd like. Patreon.com/MBN Network. 2 hours of bonus content each week guaranteed. Your contributions will help make the Might Be News Network bigger and better than ever before. Patreon.com/MBN Network.
Welcome back to Might Be Sports. MBNnetwork.com. It's never been easier for you to find your new favorite podcast. Go check out our Patreon as well. Patreon.com/MBN Network. I just want to throw a quick Foundation Radio plug in as well. There's going to be no new Novak and Franz this week. Instead, we're going to do a special edition interview episode with Foundation Radio. They did an episode a couple weeks back with David Tuck, Holocaust survivor. This week, they're going to do a exclusive interview with author, sports and entertainment mogul, and agent Darren Prince.
The agent of the stars.
Google this guy. He's impressive.
It's out. His story is incredible. It's incredible. And I'm telling you right now, his new book, it's going to be the this next month's monthly giveaway on the Patreon site. I'm gonna give away a copy of the book.
I liked his book.
I listened to the end on the audiobook with you.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And then I've met Darren a couple times, and he is generally one of the nicest people.
Very, very interesting guy.
Yeah.
So stay tuned for that. That's coming out Thursday. And then we're out of here for the holiday. We're done for the week after that. But so tune into Foundation Radio. Novak and Franz will be next week.
Yeah.
Right, CJ?
Yes,
What's happening?
there is something good planned.
Good. I don't want to know. Surprise me. We teased this a little bit before the break. The new Sixers supposed starting 5 as of right now.
Wait, so we're not talking about the September 25th premiere of the 39th season of Survivor?
No, not yet.
Because it's in September, so it's too early for that.
It's too early for that.
All right, I know you told me not to talk about this.
Thank you for letting me know, though,
All right.
because so now I'm going to mark my calendar.
Right, we're teasing this for later.
Teasing it.
So just, mark your calendars.
I've been meaning to talking to you about it. We've been talking about doing some like Patreon exclusive things. I think we need to have a Survivor special or two dedicated, to your love of this, whether it's recorded here or
Yes.
during a live watch or something of that nature. I think that would be a Patreon.
And why don't we try to have multiple former Survivor guys call in?
Wow, that'd be something serious.
We could do that.
Wow.
And you guys will hate it. but I'll have a great time. But that's coming up in September. Can't wait. The 39th season.
Not just September, but
awesome.
the end of September.
Yeah. It's quite a while from now. We just entered July.
4 days before
I'm already
the end
missing
of
Survivor. This is why I consider it a sport, because there's only baseball going on right now.
Yeah.
And I really wish there was a summer Survivor.
So you're in like full off-season mode.
Man. Yeah, I love Survivor. I can't wait.
The new Sixers starting five, as of right now, Ben Simmons, who the Sixers just offered a mega 5-year, $170 million deal. I think it's kind of silly to sign him right now. I get that he's like the foundation, but he's got to show me a jump shot. He's got to show me a jump shot.
Why? It's not what he does.
Now. He's got to do it now. I want to see it in the Australian thing he does this summer. I want to see it.
I don't want him to get better. And, we're talking about this as both being 76ers fans. So if we do the annoying thing where we say, like,
us or we,
all that kind of stuff, forgive us. But what their team needs is for Ben Simmons to get better at what he's already good at. I don't want him staying stagnant at everything he does pretty well and spending all of his time working on this 3-point jump shot that doesn't exist.
I don't even need a 3-pointer. Don't even need it.
Right. So, all right. I want him to get better at those shots close to the basket.
Yeah, I agree. I totally agree.
I want to see like a kind of, new age sky hook. I know that hasn't really existed in the NBA in 25 years, something like that.
I want to see a fucking Ben Simmons that gets respected by defenses
in the paint.
In the fucking playoffs.
In the paint, in the playoffs.
Everywhere.
Right.
Everywhere.
But it does seem like he's a different guy in the playoffs.
All season, they respect him. All season, they do. But when it matters...
When they prepare for him, is what you mean.
When they prepare for him.
Because in the NBA,
they play for him, they play 5, 6, 7 games.
That's why there's such a home court advantage in the NBA, because teams don't have time to prepare for a different team on Monday, then Wednesday, then Thursday, then Saturday. It's impossible.
Right.
So they just do their best.
So if you got a series against Ben Simmons, you can just straight up leave him alone. Because all he's going to do is pass. If you have the paint covered, he's fucked. There's nothing Ben Simmons can do. Nothing worth $170 million for the next 5 years.
But the talent's there.
And
if he works on those things that he's already pretty damn good at, if he can get great at those things.
If Ben Simmons can get average at jump shooting in games, I'm not talking about pregame warm-ups. I'm talking about in the game. Ben Simmons could be legendary. Like, top talent in the league. I mean, I'm not saying he's not right now. I feel like he has one of the biggest upsides, possibilities out there of any player in the league. Straight up, I feel that way. I feel like he has more upside than Zion. I do. But he's got to show that he wants to find that upside. To me, right? I mean, not just to me, but to all of his fans. You go through any Twitter conversation about Ben Simmons, Instagram, Facebook. That's all you see is guy better work on his jumper. It's embarrassing. And I know that he knows it is. I know that he's embarrassed by it. How could you not be? How could you not hear that stuff? So my next question is, how could you not want to fix that? Especially if you're signing a 5-year, $170 million contract in one of the angriest and most irritable and knowledgeable sports cities in America.
Right. And he's going to work on that.
He's got to.
He definitely will.
He's got to.
But there has to be more patience, I think, too. That's one thing that's lacking in the NBA right now. Look at Kemba Walker getting a max deal. And
he's in Boston now.
He was a pretty good player his whole career. Just okay, pretty good.
Right.
And then he becomes an all-NBA guy in like a year and a half.
Yeah. No, that's like all it takes sometimes is just like an off season.
It takes time.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No, I agree.
Mike Conley. He's one of the most sought after point guards in the NBA.
Kyle Korver.
And he entered the NBA just okay, just pretty good. And then he became a lights out 3-point shooter. Now he's one of the most dependable at like
Steph
33.
Curry.
He's getting huge contracts.
Steph Curry was totally undersized, totally under prepared, not prepared, but like he wasn't what he is now.
Right.
First couple of years. And see, I get wrapped up in Ben Simmons because sometimes I forget that first year doesn't exist. Like you know what I mean? He's been a part of this whole process for a year longer than I give him credit for, or than I should be giving him credit for. You know what I mean?
But think of all right. So if I told you Jahlil Okafor right now is like 24 years old, it would blow your mind, right? You think like Jahlil Okafor is a guy that was in Philly, wore out his welcome, traded away, and it feels like a million years ago that he was traded away, but he's still 24 now.
Right.
And he's a guy that's right now very dependent upon in the NBA. I think he's still in New Orleans, and he actually had a pretty decent year last year. He averaged like 11 and 4, whatever it was, but he came on pretty strong at the end. He's an okay player. He's actually on the upswing now when everyone thought he was done. But they thought he was done when he was 21 years old. That's insane, especially when his first year in the NBA, he averaged 17 and a half points per game.
Right.
This is a guy that led Duke to, I think, a championship. He was one of the best players in college basketball. I think he got drafted number 3 overall. One of the best players in the college game. Number 3 overall drafted. I think he was maybe the second or third choice for Rookie of the Year. Maybe behind, it was...
I don't even remember at this point. Was it Ingram?
It was Karl Anthony Towns and the old Nick, who's now with Dallas. Foreign-born player. I forget his name right now. It's escaping me, but you know who I'm talking about with the Knicks.
I don't remember. Oh, Porzingis.
Porzingis, yes. So I think he was third in Rookie of the Year voting that year. He's
just got a big contract in Dallas.
Yeah. So after 1 year, Jahlil Okafor didn't look too damn bad. After 3 years in the NBA, people were writing him off completely. And he was only like 21 at the time. He's like 24 now. And he's back up. People actually want him on their team. But nobody has patience for Ben Simmons. Nobody has patience for superstars that maybe,
I have patience.
Take a step back
but it needs to happen soon. It needs to happen soon. Because the East is going to get stronger next year. Let me talk more about the starting five. And it is going to
happen. He has every opportunity to get better at the things that he's already good at. I don't want him shooting those 3-point shots. It's a waste of time. Get better at the things you're already pretty damn good at.
Outside the paint. I need a mid-range jumper. It has to happen.
And it has
to happen. Josh Richardson, the Sixers acquired in the Jimmy Butler deal with Miami. Tobias Harris, the Sixers re-signed. 5-year deal. It's big time for Tobias Harris, who supposedly is just on the cusp of entering his prime. Then the Sixers acquired Al Horford from Boston, basically one of the only people in the league that can shut Joel Embiid down. And then we have Joel Embiid. So that to me is a very, very good defensive starting five.
The best in the league by far.
Yeah. Like, holy shit. Now the question is, because the Sixers, JJ Redick went to New Orleans, 2-year deal. Jimmy Butler signing a max deal in Miami. Oh, and the Sixers re-signed Mike Scott, which I'm also very happy about. Who's shooting the ball? Tobias Harris is. Al Horford has a shot.
Yeah, but I think the NBA
I don't know
is
much about Josh Richardson.
3-point happy, and I don't know if that's if you're looking at like the analytics side of things. Do you want to be on the end of a trend or at the start? Do you want to be too late or too early?
I can dig that.
I think they might be a little too early.
I think they're a little too early.
But I think it's in the right direction.
It is.
Because I think the 3-point happy thing, that might go away. And guess what? It might go away big time if the NBA decides to move back the line.
True.
And that's been one of the things that we're talking about. But, man, I'm telling you, I mean, and we're not talking about guys that can't shoot the three. They have a bunch of guys that shoot it at 37, 38%. It's not over 40. They're not getting JJ Redick kind of stuff, but it's still pretty good. These are guys that can still shoot the three respectably. So, I don't know. I think when you add up everything else, the defense is off the charts. They don't have a quote-unquote number one guy unless Joel Embiid is 100%, and you don't know how long you're going to have him. He's a huge question mark. And can Ben Simmons be that guy who can take the ball in his own hands and do that thing? Who knows? But it kind of looks like it could be like a Detroit Pistons thing from, what was it, like 2006, 7, 8, somewhere around there, where who was the star? They didn't really have a quote-unquote star, but the whole team was amazing. They played defense, and they just shut teams down. And when they had to, they gave it to, the Coatesville kid.
Rip Hamilton.
Rip. Yeah. But he was a guy, he scored 20 points a game, 2 assists, 2 rebounds. That's all he did.
Right.
So they could be a version of that.
Could be. I'm interested. I'm hype. Let me say this. I was very upset instantaneously when I found out it didn't look like Jimmy Butler was going to stay in Philly. Very upset about it. I'm happy they kept Tobias. I'm happy with the Al Horford situation. But I'm interested. The big thing from free agency, aside from how much different the Sixers are going to look, as of right now, the big deal in free agency is that Kevin Durant, Kyrie Irving, and DeAndre Jordan are going to the Brooklyn Nets. D'Angelo Russell is now Golden State Warrior.
Yeah.
Golden State also offered Clay a max deal.
I kind of like that. There's been talk, are the Warriors not going to make the playoffs next year? There's a lot of teams that got better, and they're not one of them. But does he make them? He doesn't make them better, obviously.
There's people that are saying that
if bridge that gap enough,
if they make the playoffs, there's people that are saying that Clay will be back by then.
Right. That's all you got to do is make the playoffs.
Yep. And then it's game on. I don't know. I don't think it's bad enough to where they don't make the playoffs next year. I don't. I also think that they might re-sign Boogie. They might.
So who plays what? So D'Angelo, Curry, and Klay Thompson. How do they play together at the same time? It's like a small ball thing? Klay plays small forward?
Yeah, I think so.
Is that weird? I don't know if that defensively is just bad. Right? I mean, is that good?
I don't know. It's going to be interesting.
I'm not sure how any of those guys are on defense. I feel like Klay Thompson might be okay. Steph Curry, I know, is not great.
Yeah.
D'Angelo Russell, I'm just going to guess, not great on D.
Yeah, I don't. No.
These guys aren't known for it, but that's kind of a weird mix.
It's going to be something else.
So when they all have to play together, and it's one of those things where can they meld? Can they make it work whenever Klay comes back? They're going to need some time. It's not just about Klay coming back for the playoffs. He's got to come back with 20 games left in the regular season, 10, whatever it is, enough games to work it out.
For them to win the finals, but for them to make it, maybe to
and
the
I'll
West.
be rooting for them. You know why? They'll be underdogs. It doesn't matter. Each underdog story is one at a time. Every year, the Warriors will be underdogs. They won all those championships in the past. Doesn't matter.
Right.
An underdog story could be written overnight. And it kind of was. It was turning that way. If the Warriors had to play I mean, shoot, if it came down to a game 7 where it was like just Steph on the court pretty much, and Draymond Green, the whole world would have been rooting for the Warriors.
Yeah. I wish they won. I do.
I
still
can't
do.
stand the Raptors.
I can't deal with it.
And it's all because of that what's his name? That rapper guy?
Oh. Drake. He who shall not be named. CJ,
I hear he raps good.
Oh god. CJ, you got some rapid fire?
I do have rapid fire.
Pachoo!
Ezekiel Elliott meets with Roger Goodell. I made a poor decision.
Who did? Ezekiel Elliott said that?
Yes. It's for the Vegas thing.
Yeah, he has made a number of poor choices. I'm kind of getting sick of him. I've been sick of him, actually, for quite some time.
Antonio Brown channels Muhammad Ali with $250,000 chain. Sting like AB.
He's so annoying.
Wow.
He does this kind of crap.
But the chain is the Mickey's logo. It's the Mickey's B.
Oh, my God.
He only does this stuff for social media. This guy is so obsessed with himself. It's insane.
He gave that to Muhammad Ali.
No, he channels his inner Muhammad Ali.
Oh.
Because his quote for the chain was Sting like AB, the letters AB, Antonio Brown.
It's so dumb. He's actually not that good. If his career ended right now, he wouldn't be a Hall of Famer.
Yeah, but he's still got
he's got a lot left to prove.
He does, but he's still got a lot of time to do it.
At his age and size, it does not end well for those kind of guys. He's had a great career. He's on the Hall of Fame track. But if it halts right now, he's not yet there. And at his age is when things start to go insanely downhill. So he's got to watch what he says.
All right, so there's two stories kind of relating the same topic, so I'll read both headlines, and then we'll go from there. Colin Kaepernick convinces Nike to yank Betsy Ross flag shoes. Nike's Betsy Ross shoes selling for $2,500 after Kaepernick recall.
Yeah, because some got out and were already sold. Yeah, I think this is insane. Nike's insane. Everyone's insane. Everything's insulting if it happened prior to 1960, apparently.
So the whole thing is there are two white supremacist groups that use the Betsy Ross flag as a sign of what they view as the high point of America because white men were in charge and slavery was...
Naturally. So what if they start using the Nike logo?
Well, I think
is Nike going to have to change their name?
No, I think Nike would probably sue legitly till the end of time over that one.
It's so dumb. It's not no one was going to be insulted.
Well,
it's a big thing.
One of the groups actually thanked Nike for using the flag, which made it even worse.
That's always going to happen.
So I've heard a number of things with this where Colin Kaepernick, I don't think, called Nike and was like, "Hey guys, don't sell these shoes." I think he just let them know that some people might be offended by this.
He let them know, and then the group thanked Nike. So Nike goes, "All right, we got to figure something out with this."
So my whole thing is like, I look at it differently than I suppose some people would. I like the shoe. I don't know why, however, they wouldn't just put the American flag on the back. Like, why wouldn't you just put the American flag? The shoes are fly. I like them a lot. And I don't dislike the flag on the back. I think it ties the whole shoe together.
Yeah, so
I think it looks really nice. Put the American flag on there.
It's the 13 original colonies. If we consider that racist, then what are we doing?
Well, I just learned that today that those groups use that flag.
I didn't know that either. But I mean, it's like I can dig where they're coming from. I do find it ridiculous that this is happening. And what I think is even more ridiculous is that it's such a big story.
I don't think Nike would have done anything if that group hadn't thanked them over social media.
Right.
Because they kind of attribute Nike to being on their side and pushing their agenda by using that flag.
And see, those are the lines that
ridiculous.
Those are the lines that get blurred, though.
Yeah.
And it's blurred because of social media, because there is
nobody knows these things. Nobody looks at that flag and says, "Oh, it's racist." Like, it's just, these aren't things that are given.
Somebody might, though.
You know what?
Somebody does.
Gives it light?
Yeah, somebody
you know
does
what,
now. Yeah.
What gives it light is these things. When you recall these shoes, that's what gives it light. That's what actually gives racists power. When you give them so much power that you have to recall millions of shoes because some group might happen to use their flag that nobody's ever heard of in their life. Nobody's heard of them using this flag until now. We've all heard of it because now it's a big thing. How about you just do what you want to fucking do and you say, "Hey, racist, fuck off."
Right.
It's not yours. The Betsy Ross flag doesn't belong to you. The 13 original colonies.
Right.
You're a fucking douchebag. Fuck off. You know what? Don't buy our shoes. But if you do, hey, shit, just know that we're Nike and we contribute to a lot of causes you'll fucking hate. So thank you for your money.
Right.
I mean, come on.
Right. I like the shoes. I do.
They look cool. There's something about that design with the circle and the stars that looks cool. I mean, if you want a throwback, if you're talking throwback, you're throwing back to the original flag.
Right.
You gotta love the throwback. You put the regular flag on there, looks kind of corny. You don't think, like?
I think you're disrespecting America.
I kind of think I kind of think our flag right now needs like a
just a facelift.
It needs a facelift. Yes.
Are we going to break down the flag on our show? I think we need to do that next week.
There's something cool about the throwback with the stars.
I think we should save this
cool
to the bonus material to talk about how we should redesign the American flag.
I don't know how we do it, but I dig that throwback circle with the 13 stars thing.
So Kevin's going to start listing the states that he wants to kick out to get back.
But here's the thing. Now I can never wear a shirt with that flag on it because now it's being thrown out there that it's a symbol of racism.
Where do you buy a shirt with that flag besides the Betsy Ross house? So next one, LeVar Ball fires back at Charles Barkley. You wish I was your father.
Who he said that to Charles Barkley?
Yeah.
So what did Charles Barkley say? Like, why did he say you wish I was your father? Did Charles Barkley call him his daddy?
No, called him a bad father and this because of what he's doing with his kids and all that.
Well, yeah. So Charles is right.
It's a rare that you say Charles Barkley's right, but Charles Barkley's right. All right, so I got 3 more, 2 fit together. So we'll go the odd man out. Ryan Sheckler, young skaters don't appreciate Tony Hawk. He paved the way.
Tony Hawk absolutely paved the way.
They don't?
Hurry up. We have to go to the week before we get out of here.
All right. UFC's Dana White. Tom Cruise versus Justin Bieber fight. It could happen. The other one, Steve-O calls out Bieber fight. Me instead of Tom Cruise.
Oh, it's worthless. All of it's worthless. Go to the week time real quick because none of that's going to happen. Point blank. I don't think any of that's going to happen. Do you?
Bieber's talking with UFC.
Oh, God.
So there are phone calls. Nothing with Cruise yet.
Oh, God. All right. We have a minute and a half.
Okay.
Go to the week, no sounder. My go to the week, it's another U.S. soccer player, Alex Morgan. She's got 6 goals in the tournament. She scored the game-winning goal against England. It was her 30th birthday when it happened. Unbelievable job. The team is unbelievable. They did it without Megan Rapinoe. Alex Morgan, hands down, my go to the week. She was also the captain during the game. Fantastic game. It's been a fantastic tournament. Go to the week, Alex Morgan.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if anybody's done anything like specifically exceptional this week in sports. I mean, you know, we talked about Tyler Skaggs. We don't got to get into all that. You know, I hope his family is, you know, good dealing with all that, and it sucks. You don't want to see a player get cut down in his prime. That being said, you know, Royal Farms Chicken Palooza started this week. So
Wait, in the middle of Hoagie Fest?
Oh, God.
In the middle of Hoagie Fest.
It's a gas station
And we're in
rumble.
Wawa country. So I'm not great at segues. So, much love to Tyler Skaggs and his family and all that.
Yeah, absolutely.
And you know what? It's been fun, guys.
You guys did a great job tonight. Thank you guys all for listening to the show. Might Be Sports. We'll be back next week. MBNnetwork.com. It's never been easier for you to find your new favorite podcast.
And Andrew, come back.
Andrew's not here. Well, he'll be back hopefully
Andrew's
next week.
Andrew's going to be back next week talking football. We're going to break this down.
We got a whole bunch of stuff going on. We'll talk more about free agency next week as well, too. We'll see you next week. Thanks so much.